right, Davi, after 6 months of testing and 26 years of unfinished business, maybe some closure?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Actually, a lot of bit. I'm very happy today. So I told you guys, we're going to get deep. I've told you guys about how, like, in my childhood, I was taken to psychologists so they could find out, like, what's wrong with her. You know, like, she doesn't smile enough, blah, blah, blah. And both my sister and I had to go. And it was, like, kind of this plan. I don't know. Somebody suggested to my dad, if your kids look traumatized on paper, that'll bode well for you. And I'm not going to say why, because it's not necessary, but took us to a psychologist. We did 3 months of testing over a summer. And do you know how much, remember the SATs in school, little bubble letter, just like, and how many hours it took and how much it sucked? It's that all summer long. Oof. I didn't deserve that at the age of 9. But at the end of it all, like, my sister comes out fine. They say that the little one has suicidal ideations and depression. So instead of putting me into further therapy or dissecting that at all, my parents were like, what the hell? You have nothing to be depressed about. You could never want for anything. You're just ungrateful and you're faking it, and you need to smile around the house more. It's bothering everybody. Like, you're putting everybody out. You're making everybody uncomfortable. You're the problem. So I just was like, I'm sorry. All I know is I talked to a doctor for 3 months and now everybody's mad at me.
Upon your request.
Yeah, and I didn't know what exactly the doctor had told them until later, so I was just like, everybody's mad at me now. And then because I still wasn't a very smiley, affectionate, fun kid, there was this, constant, like, we're going to send you away. We're going to send you to boot camp if you can't learn to smile. If you can't, like, make eye contact, and if you can't smile more, like, you're bumming everybody out. So, and it was really important to my dad, being a veteran, like, you make eye contact with people, it's respectful. So, like, I trained myself to do this and, like, to smile and mask it, I guess. So I've gone my whole life thinking, okay, so I was, like, sort of diagnosed depressed as a 9-year-old, and I've just gone my whole life thinking that's in the back of my head. I need to push through that, and I need to fake it, and I need to mask that because it bums people out, and it'll get you punished more than it'll get you like any kind of olive branch or hand at all, because there's a stigma around it. But I decided, I was having a lot more, like, panic attacks this past year, and I don't know if it's the pandemic. I don't know, but I knew coming out of like, lockdown and everything, and then trying to do a comedy tour, I wasn't going to be able to handle it. So I knew I needed some help because I was, like, crying and panicked all the time and I couldn't breathe. So I go to the doctor. They put me on Lexapro. Things got worse, like, way, way worse, and for a lot of different reasons, like bad food behaviors, because I grew up, like, battling an eating disorder as well. I was keeping that to myself. Sleeplessness, all of this stuff got worse. Impulsive, reckless behaviors, because I was just like, I don't know. Sometimes it's like antidepressants, anti-anxieties make you so chill. You don't care if you're doing something dangerous and could die.
Those first couple of months are so tough because you're testing to see what dosage you really need, right? Until you get it right.
Yeah. So, going through that and just thinking, like, oh, damn, I thought I was going to get on a medicine and everything was going to get better, and it didn't for me. So something must be especially wrong. And I really thought this was going to help, being that when I was 9, they were like, you're depressed and you're sad. And so I thought that would help, and it didn't. It made stuff worse. So I decided I'm not going to have anxiety attacks anymore. I'm going to attack my anxiety. Like, I'm going to take this really seriously. So I, started going to a psychiatrist. So I've got, this guy, like, kind of evaluating me. And then I also went through this program, and it takes like 6 to 8 months, and they test you and they evaluate you while they're testing you. So again, I put myself through, like, that thing I went through when I was 9, but this time it was voluntary, and this time it was for me because I wanted to, like, help myself. And I don't know. I guess I considered it self-care. Like, I wasn't just going to sit around taking baths where I'm just in the bath, like, freaking out about life. It's not relaxing at all. So I was like, I'm going to actually take the effort and the steps towards self-care and have, like, brain tenance, if you will. And so I went through this program where they test you, and oh, they give you Jeopardy style questions, and I felt so dumb, so dumb. And then like I guess that's part of it is they're watching you get in your head and freak out about it. So everything, my hands shaking, like everything was being evaluated. I didn't even know, and I had to go through all of these like listening, watching, hearing, and like
all the
really
senses.
following directions. Yeah, like every sense. So like it, it turns out like I have a sensory processing disorder. I got a bunch of letters. I got ADHD, PTSD, SPD. Like it's
Dang.
super fun.
RESPECT?
Yes. Yes.
You down with OPP?
Yes. Roy Biv, all the things.
You know me.
I got everything. It's a blessing from God. But I don't like it, that's so that's where I am.
But you got a diagnosis.
I have a diagnosis.
Okay, that's
for you.
good.
And I'm not depressed, and I'm not like just anxious all the time. Like there's a reason for it. And ADHD causes anger issues. It causes anxiety. It doesn't get diagnosed in women because the symptoms are so different. Like boys generally with ADHD, not always, there's always exceptions, but boys with ADHD act out. Like their hyperactivity is out, and girls act inward. So I had an eating disorder. I was cutting myself. Like I'm trigger warning. I'm sorry, but I was doing all of these things as a kid, and I didn't know that that's what it was. Like where you can't focus, and you internalize all of it, and you hurt yourself. And generally people with ADHD also have sleep apnea. There's I got all of these other things diagnosed.
It makes sense.
And then was finally able to go, here's all of the problems. And they're like, oh, and those are symptoms of one big problem. And now I can get medication for that one big problem or take occupational therapy. There's all kinds of different therapies for PTSD and ADHD. I'm just like, I don't know how to express the joy
Oh, I
of
bet.
getting that kind of medical validation and learning like there's nothing wrong with me. It happens to a lot of people, and I can finally like manage it and triumph through it, and I'm just super excited.
There's a lot of courage in that, man. I hope you're taking at least a second to look at the courage it takes to do something like that, because there are a lot of people that will go their whole lives and just say, this is the way it is, and you're rejecting that. Good
No,
for you.
This was like 26 years of unfinished business,
All
and
right.
I finally closing the book, and I'm able to like take a step forward and a different person. I'm excited.
Good for you.
Thank you.
The Bert Show.